last evening, I went to a comedy show. There was a comedian. His name is Ahmed Ahmed. And he's, Middle Eastern.
Uh-huh.
This is a 2007 Shelby GT500. Based on the all-new S197 Mustang platform and equipped with a special 500 horsepower supercharged version of the 5.4-liter V8, this modern-day Shelby GT500 took the muscle car world by storm, with looks that mirror the classics and the kind of power and performance previously unheard of in any factory-built Ford Mustang. Carroll Shelby hadn't worked with Ford on a car since 1970. This would mark the 40th anniversary of the GT500 itself. For the 2007 model, 8,152 coupes were built. This vehicle is number 2,315, and it is number 765 of only 2,153 manufactured in torch red. It has a 6-speed manual transmission. It's capable of a 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, with a 12.7-second quarter mile.
Only Mustang makes it happen. These aren't just words, it's a fact.
My first good look at the 2007 Shelby GT500 was in the movie I Am Legend, and I was sold. That brings us to my guest today, stand-up comedian Ahmed Ahmed. No, not Ahmed, the dead terrorist. No, well, yes, that dead terrorist, but we'll get back to that later. That's what he looks like. I'm not Jerry Seinfeld, and this is Comedians in Cars Getting... Wait, what? Huh? Yeah. Well, we just won't get coffee then. Hey, I know I'm not Jerry Seinfeld, but this is a car.
And I'm a comedian.
That's right.
So I'll get in.
Yeah, do it.
Bro, look at all the contraptions in here. This is amazing. I can charge my phone. I can scramble some eggs.
That is correct.
Jeez, I've never seen anything like this.
You can do it all.
What is that?
That's actually, well, that's a PowerPoint. Look at all the stuff you can plug in.
Looks like a terrorist set this up.
Oh, now someone's about to call 911 on us.
Okay, please don't call. It was a joke. Had enough 911 calls made against me.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to talk about that, eh? I can't believe this. If I wanted to get somewhere, I wouldn't have made these 3 lights. 3 lights, all green. Check that out. It is a sign. So check this bridge out. When they built it, they called it the Gateway Bridge, but now it is the Korean Veterans Memorial Bridge. You're gonna miss your downtown shot. Check it.
Nashville does have a nice city skyline.
Interesting thing about the Nashville skyline. Have you seen The Matrix?
Yes.
Okay,
the first one?
Yes, the beginning of The Matrix, they're gonna go in to grab Trinity, right? She kills them all, gets up on the rooftop, and she's running. Here's your perspective. That view right there, it's as if the rooftops that she's running on are right here at the Nissan Stadium where the Titans play, running that direction. Because what they use, it's all just digital. They're shooting her on green screen, so they actually have a shot of Nashville in the background. And there's a radio station, WKDF, and you can still see the KDF in the movie. But it's the Nashville background at the beginning of The Matrix. So it's almost like, hey, that's where she is. She was in Nashville when she was going to make contact with Neo, which is pretty interesting.
Do you know what this app is?
Which one?
TouchTunes.
Uh-huh.
It's probably one of the best apps you can have. Basically, any bar you go into that has a TouchTunes jukebox, you can bump songs from your phone.
Oh. So you put in what you want. And
people will be rocking out, and the song will be over with. I'll tell you how I found out about it. I was in New York City, rocking out to a bunch of music I had in the jukebox and put in like $10, $20 worth of songs. About halfway through, my song stopped playing, and somebody else's songs were playing. And I was like, I walked over to the jukebox because I thought maybe it was broken or something happened. Big black bouncer sitting next to the jukebox and goes, "Yo man, they got an app." I said, "What?" I said, "They got an app, man." I go, "App?" He goes, "See them white frat boys over there in the corner? They got an app. They downloaded an app. It's called Touch Tunes, and you can control the jukebox from your phone. They charge you just right off your phone." I was like, "What?" So I'm watching these guys like having a laugh at my expense, but they didn't know that I just found out about this app. So I downloaded it, and I started bumping their songs. And now they're like... And so now we have it's like DJ war.
Yeah.
But I've gone into a couple places, bro, and like annihilated. Like if you want to go there and if you want to just do a little social experiment.
Yeah.
Is there a place around here that has like a jukebox and food?
Oh yeah.
Like food and jukebox?
Yeah.
Let's go in there, I'll show you how it works. We were at a bar in New York City, and there was like, all these gay guys were like rocking out to, this, nothing against gay men, I'm just saying they're rocking out to like really kind of like techno shit, like music I don't like. Mm-hmm. So I pulled out the old Touch Tunes.
Yeah.
AC/DC, Back in Black. And Leonard Skinner. Michael Jackson. Yeah, I just started. And then people were like, and you can see them, they run over to the jukebox, and they can't believe it. You see them talking amongst themselves, and I'm in the corner, dying.
So one of my DJ buddies, just a few months ago, was DJing a wedding of another friend of ours. So he's going to DJ the reception, but he's also playing the music as people are coming to sit down, right? The thing is, he's playing it off of his phone. So every time he gets an alert, the music goes away and you hear the dun. I mean, everybody hears it, so I start sending him texts. And about 4 or 5 texts into it, he finally looks up at me. Whatever.
What's this area considered Nashville?
This is East Nashville.
East Nashville.
So this is East Nashville, and it was actually pretty rough, and it still kind of is, but this is, when you talk about gentrification, that's exactly what's happening here. The hipsters are moving in. Instead of graffiti, they've got murals everywhere. I started doing a series of pictures with the murals.
Where's the Gulch?
It's about 4 blocks from your hotel.
Oh, okay, so I'm close to the Gulch.
That's correct.
I like that area. Man, this thing has some juice.
Yeah, it is also supercharged, so it's a 5.4 V8 with a supercharger on it.
My buddy tunes cars.
Yeah.
For a living, like that's his business. So he can, I don't know, pump up the horsepower.
Yes. In my 2012, the silver one, GT500, I've got a tune on there from VMP, and that thing is a beast. Look behind you right here. Look at this. They painted that mural for the B-52s coming in concert.
Oh, that's cool.
They just painted it just for that.
They're coming?
Yeah. Along with Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes. So before you even showed up, I didn't know you were coming to Nashville. I'd already seen the story unfolding online.
Wild, right?
And so when I saw your face downtown Nashville last night, I was like, what is he doing here? Because I hadn't seen that you're going to be anywhere.
Well, first of all, it's been, what, 2 years since
2 years. Wild West comedy show.
Yep, and I was in there with all the comedians, and we were drinking. And
Nate Bargatze, let's drop some names. Nate Bargatze.
Yep.
Joe from Impractical Jokers. John Reep.
John Reep. Russell Peters was one of us. And I remember you were so nice to us, and you were just so like fun to hang out with. And
you gave me your VIP pass for the festival.
That's right.
One of them.
Did you ever use it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, because I was leaving.
Yeah.
No point in me taking it with me.
So you're down in Florida. You're in Naples. You're doing a few shows for a few nights, and it's business as usual. I mean, you're up there doing what you do, and then I guess what is it? Sunday you go in, and the club owner pulls you aside, and what does he tell you?
Yeah, so I did one show Friday, 2 Saturday, and before the last show on Sunday, Mother's Day, I was just kind of hanging out in the back of the club looking at my notes. About 6:40, 6:45 rolls in. Manager comes up to me. He's like, hey, sorry to bother you. This is going to sound weird, but 2 Naples police officers are outside. They want to talk to you. And I was like, for what? He's like, I don't know. Something you said last night made an audience member fear for his life. And I was like,
now, real quick, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
When he says that, are you going through, I mean, all your bits, are you thinking about anything you said off the cuff? Or if someone were to say something you said offended me, and I had to call 911 or somebody said that, what would you have thought was the thing that you said?
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
I said, are you joking? And he's like, no, man. They're like, look outside. I looked out the window, the 2 uniformed cops standing there waiting for me. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go talk to him. So I go outside. Now I'm starting to think, what did I say? I go, hi, officers. They're like, hi, you Mr. Ahmed Ahmed? Yes. Are you the comedian that's performing here at Off the Hook Comedy Club this weekend? Yes. You know, unfortunately, we had a 911 call, and you know, when the dispatch came through, you know, we were dispatched to respond, and you know, they were kind of embarrassed and like ashamed a little bit. I think, like,
because
this has never happened to them. They've never had a 911 call on a comedian.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that on the face they think it's BS and they don't want to have to do it, but they've got to go through the numbers.
If I was a painter and I'm on like, you know, boardwalk on the beach, and I'm painting like a very established painter, and I'm painting something, and there's a crowd of people watching me, and I paint a picture of a terrorist holding a gun. Do you call 911 on the painter because you're threatened by the photo? Is saying something and painting something kind of isn't it the same thing?
Right. You
know, you're technically painting a picture with your words. And so the police officer said, you know, you said something that made him nervous. And I said, what was it? They said, we don't know exactly, but it was something to the effect of, are there any Middle Eastern people here? A few people clapped. And then I said, apparently, that's...
allegedly. I love when they say allegedly.
Allegedly, there's enough people here to start a little terrorist organization, which is not what I said. He misquoted what I said and took it out of context. What I said was, are there any Middle Eastern people here? Yes, and they clapped. I said, that's great, there's a small bunch of us here. But hey, it only takes one of us. And that's the joke.
Right.
It's a backhanded, like, you didn't see it coming. And then that gets a laugh, and I say, to tell a joke, it takes one Middle Eastern person to tell a joke. And that gets a laugh, and then I say, but seriously, lock the doors. And that gets a laugh, and then I move on.
Right. That's an icebreaker. It's one of those, let's get the obvious out of the way.
Let's get the obvious out. Let's point out the elephant in the room. Let me disarm everybody. Let me just trigger, you know, lack of better words, but trigger, you know, trigger their attention, you know, like get their attention. And because there's so much fear around the Middle East and Islam, it only behooves me to talk about it, because it does kind of, you know, disarm everybody.
So you go in and you start your show that night. Do you tell the audience what just happened?
Yeah, so I went up on stage.
How do you even start? You walk out. So, you got to greet them. You walk out.
So the police officers were cool. You know, they took my ID and my information. It was funny, when I did TMZ, you were there.
Yeah.
Harvey Levin was like, they took your information, they took your ID. Well, I don't think they're going to do that.
I think that's really just a technicality, because they're out there on a call.
I was like, bro,
they need to document who they contacted.
He's a lawyer, so I think his legal brain started to, you know, kick into action. And he was probably thinking, oh, well, how do you defend this case or whatever? But But the fact of the matter is I think that's just police protocol. Take their information. You know, I could have denied and said no, but at this point, bro, I'm just trying to be as compliant as possible. I'm not trying to.
And they know who you are anyway. At that point, it's just they're going to put it. Hey, this is the person we talked to.
Right. And I asked if I could video, and they said,
which
okay.
You actually don't even have to ask.
Well, that's what I found out, because the woman said you can video whatever you want.
Yeah.
The funny news is they didn't send 2 white cops. They sent an African-American woman and a Latin male. So I think they were trying, when that call came in, I don't know, Naples police were like, look, we have enough problems around white cops beating up.
Well, the buzzword from the last couple of years, it's optics. Right. We have to, make things look a little better and not intimidating. And
yeah, I mean, but God knows, they could have handcuffed me if it was another, not to stereotype certain races, but
well, here's the deal. Okay,
it could have gone a different direction.
You got your First Amendment rights, but they end where then it's going to harm someone. So you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. If you were to yell fire, everybody get out, and people get trampled and die, you're liable for that. That's not free speech. But what you did under the umbrella of, first of all, like you're saying, art, what you're actually doing, not even the same thing. It wasn't a call to action in any way, shape, or form. It was a joke, and I don't see why people keep drawing these new lines about you can say this, but you can't say that. Well, this is a subject you can't talk about, but this one isn't. You have to actually face what you're walking around, living, and dealing with in the world every day.
Right.
Okay. So, if I was doing a show at the Apollo, I might do some self-deprecating white guy humor. Now, look at this. This is one of the most redneck things you'll see. He doesn't.
Why did he do that?
Well, he doesn't have a bumper, so he's got to put his license plate, duct tape his license plate to the window.
You know what they started doing in Miami? It's funny. I noticed this in Miami. They have a new law where you don't need to have a license plate on the front bumper.
Right, they don't even have those in Tennessee. You get one plate, nothing on the front.
Really?
Yeah,
I noticed a couple cars here. Yeah. Some do, some don't.
What we're gonna do is play the 911 call right now.
Collier County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Cormier. This line is recorded. How may I help you?
Hi, I don't know if I have the right department, but last evening I went to a comedy show, and the comedy show is happening again tonight at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
At Off the Hook.
Yep.
On Pine Ridge Road. Are you familiar with that?
I am, yep.
Okay. There was a comedian. His name is Ahmed Ahmed, and he's Middle Eastern.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing he said when he got out on the stage was, okay, how many Middle Eastern people do we have here? And a whole bunch of people raised their hand.
Uh-huh.
I guess they went to see him because he was Middle Eastern.
Uh-huh.
When you hear the name Ahmed Ahmed.
Right.
I guess. So, and there weren't a lot of people there, I guess, because of the name.
Uh-huh.
I went because I got free tickets.
Okay.
And as the people raised their names, they said, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Iraq. I'm from Iran. I'm from Pakistan. I'm from here. I'm from there. He said, that's great. He said, we could organize our own little terrorist organization.
Oh.
And I don't think that was right.
Right.
I mean, it really bothered me.
Yeah, I understand that in this environment.
And I yelled that, and the paddy wagon's going to be outside to get all of you.
Uh-huh.
And, I don't know, is that something that should not be said? Something to be done about it?
That I don't know. I'm not a certified deputy, so I don't know the law on it, but I can send a deputy out there if you'd like, and maybe they can talk with him and see, what that was about.
Because there's another show at 7 o'clock. I don't know if he's going to say it again.
Yeah.
There's a total of 5 shows. No, 5 shows. 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Yeah, 5 shows. So I don't know if he's going to say it again, but I just thought it was terrible. My wife and I looked at each other, and we felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I understand that. Like I said, I could send somebody out there tonight and have them see what's going on.
Okay. Maybe listen in and see if he says something like that.
Yeah, would you like anyone to contact you with an outcome or anything?
Well, I wouldn't want my name used.
You don't have to.
I wouldn't want anybody. I wouldn't want my name told to the comedy club at all, because
Okay.
they go there all the time.
Yeah. Well, then I'll just leave it anonymous then, and they'll just address it and see if it's something they need to handle, then they will.
Thank you.
Okay?
Because they start at 7, and he comes on a little later, because they have two other comedians.
Okay. I'll let them know. All right. We appreciate
I was debating on whether I should call or not.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
I just think
Well,
it's
if it's
terrible.
bothering you,
Yeah.
it's better to check it out.
There were about 25, Muslims there.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we'll have them check it out. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you for calling.
you.
Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, so when's the first time you heard that call, and what were your feelings and thoughts as it played?
Well, it was interesting because I tried to obtain a copy of it from the Collier Deputies Sheriff's Department or whatever.
Yeah.
I sent the email.
The whole Freedom of Information Act.
Followed up with the call, and they were like, well, it could take days or weeks. Because, once they file, there's loads of people in front of you. The press ended up getting it. And one of the, I don't want to name their name, but one of the, I guess it doesn't matter because it's public record, but one of the journalists who interviewed me emailed me a copy of it.
And that was nice to kind of get it to you quickly.
Yeah. And I when I listened to it, I was like, this guy was like legit scared for his life. So there, part of me kind of feels bad, but a part of me doesn't, because it's like, bro, you can't go to a comedy club and take everything like literally, Most comedy is figurative.
I can't wrap my head around the mindset of waiting that long and then actually being scared,
Yeah, look, he was very specific about, there were people from Iraq and people from Lebanon and people from Pakistan, which is not true. Nobody ever said Pakistan.
He's just naming off the greatest hits.
Yes, that's greatest Axis of Evil hits. He went on to say, when he asked how many Middle Eastern were there, about 25 Muslims raised their hands. I counted, whatever he said. First of all, Arab and Muslim, it's two different things. Most Arabs are Muslim. Most Muslims are not Arab.
Right.
And so that guy needs to
He's conflating the two. When one is the area, the other is literally the religion.
You have Arab and Middle Eastern Christians and Jews and atheists. So
right. This is one of my favorite places to drive.
Man.
Look at this. This is why I brought you out here. This is
incredible.
This is gorgeous.
This is what I love about Nashville. You'll find stuff like this.
We're in a tunnel right now.
Wow, this is like a tree tunnel. This is amazing.
Oh, by the way, Garth Brooks, we just passed his house back this way.
Yeah, you should
Garth Brooks lives there.
Pass by and invite him to the comedy show.
Hit the button. Hey, Garth. He's married to Trisha Yearwood.
Bro, this is great. This is like, I feel like I'm in The Hobbit.
You take your shoes off. You got big hairy feet.
This is great that it kind of opens up right here.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I used to date a girl from Migmanville. You know where that is?
Yeah. Yep.
And then she moved to Nashville, and I met her, and we dated on and off, but because of her, I was coming to Nashville quite a bit. I do like Nashville. It has a very kind of homestead quality about it. And then if you want to go down into the city and, get greasy.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I grew up in North Dakota, and going into the music industry, I had choices. I chose Nashville because it was big city but still felt small town.
Sure.
Compared to New York and LA, those are your three. Atlanta's booming and huge right now, especially with film production and so on. And there are a lot of hubs that do different things, in the entertainment business in the country. But those are your three.
Right.
Nashville's like, they call it the third coast. East Coast, West Coast, you're at the third coast. As a matter of fact, we have a comedy club called the Third Coast Comedy Club.
Here?
Yep. They have taken this big whole building that used to be a factory, building motors and engines, steam engines, so on. And they do concerts there, and then there's the little comedy club in there. They do a lot of improv. So, hey, back to the guy. So, he sounds scared while you're listening to it. So, is there empathy at all for him? Does any of that come through over your, this guy is ridiculous?
Empathy for me?
Well, I'm saying for him, or feeling sorry for him for having to feel that way, or feeling that way, or what?
Of course. The guy went home. He didn't make the call right after the show or outside the club that night. He made it the next day.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking that he called from the show.
Yeah, so he went home. He, went to sleep mad and maybe a little scared and probably upset. And then he woke up probably feeling the same way. And, that probably triggered an argument with him and his wife. And then he probably kicked his dog a couple times and threw the coffee mug on the floor, picked up 911, called 911. No, I'm joking about that.
Right.
But because he sounded like legit concerned and scared. So for that, I do feel bad because comedy, my jokes should not. I'm trying to bring the world together with laughter. I'm not trying to be divisive. I'm trying to be inclusive. So
look at
this is great, man. I feel like I'm in like Raiders of the Lost Ark or some shit. So from me, from a sort of social and psychological perspective, and I was kind of saying this to a lot of people that have been interviewing me for the past few days, it's become a bigger story than me. It has nothing to do with me anymore. It has to do with Islamophobia in America and around the world, and racism, whether it's subliminal or blatant. This was a blatant racist call.
Oh, when he pauses, he says, your name, Ahmed Ahmed, and the way he says it, it's like, hey, his name is Ahmed Ahmed, so you know what I mean? And then it's like, the way he pauses and goes, Middle Eastern.
Right.
It's,
So, for that, there's something to be said about where his mindset is at.
So when do the calls start coming in where people want to talk to you about it?
Well, so I went up on stage that night after I was questioned by the police. I literally walked in the room and they introduced me. And I was like, hey, everybody, thanks for coming out. Happy Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
I said, the weirdest thing just happened to me. And I said, I did a joke last night that frightened an audience member so much that he called 911.
Now, did they laugh at that point? Did they think you're just...
everyone in the audience was
okay,
like...
so they're thinking you're serious at this point.
Yeah,
okay,
they kind of gasped a little bit and were like, what? There was like a little murmur in the room.
Yeah.
I said, he called 911 on me today, and police came to question me, and I said, I'm just sorry, I'm a little shaken up. I've never had anybody call 911 on me over a joke. And then right when I said that, about 3 or 4 people yelled out, tell us the joke. And I went, okay. So I said, I'm just going to go joke for joke. And after every joke, I'm going to check in with you guys. Let's have a safe word. Pikachu. Right? If you feel threatened, yell out Pikachu.
Yeah.
So I went through my first joke. People laughed. I go, any threats? And everyone goes, no, keep going. Did the next joke, and then joke for joke for joke. And I recorded it, and the audience was with me, and, I was making fun of and laughing at the idea, like who's calling 911 on a comic?
Yeah. Now, normally you hop out there, you got your icebreaker, you feel them out, and you get some response, and it kind of sets the tone for then how your set's going to go. How did this one go when you had to start off that way? And only that was building your set with bricks.
On Sunday, you mean?
On Sunday, where you're not actually starting off just straight up funny. And then how does it transition? They were totally responsive?
Yeah, they were cool. They got that I was, kind of giving them almost like a PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
Of my comedy act.
TED Talk.
Almost like a TED Talk. So, did the show, meet and greets. Was driving back to Miami that night. So my opening feature act, Dougie Almeida, and I jumped in his car. We drove back to Miami, and on the ride home, I was like, because it wasn't sitting right with me, and I was like, I'd be interested to know if anybody would, what the reaction of people would have, for something like this.
Yeah.
So
we have to do this because we're on a straightaway and there's nobody here.
Cool. You like that? Yeah, we're gonna call the cops. Yeah. Jeez. Wow. That's some G-force, man. Jeez. This thing has freaking.
Now, am I scaring you now?
No, I like that. I like fast cars. I like driving them, but being in the passenger seat, it's a different feeling.
All right, so now it comes time to where you've already told them you've had your show, and now it's like sharing it with the world. How does everybody else start hearing about it?
I get back to Miami, I check in my hotel, I'm kind of sitting there in my hotel room, kind of just pondering on what happened, and thought to myself, should I share this with the world or just let it go? And I thought, you know what? I'm not trying to crucify anybody, but I would like to put some awareness on it so we can at least get a conversation and a dialogue happening. So I just posted it on Twitter, the video of me interviewing the two kind police officers. The genius thing about the whole video was at the very end, the male officer said, don't change any of your material, just keep doing what you're doing. And that was kind of like, that signed, sealed, and delivered the overall message. It's like, even the cop who responded to the call said, yo man, keep doing your thing.
So it sounds like Naples is a little embarrassed by this, like this guy has not represented the city very well.
I don't know about that. I don't know if, I think there are probably people.
Well, I'm not talking about for your view. I'm talking about maybe their feeling.
But I'm saying there are probably people in Naples that are like, I'm glad they called 911 on him.
Right.
Let's be vigilant. Let's protect our community. Good for him whoever did that.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure other people are split decision and feel the other.
All right. So the 911 operator contacted you.
Yeah, so she reached out to me on Twitter and she sent me a really nice. I can read it if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, let's do it.
She was nice. Her name is Barbara Ann.
Barbara Ann. I ran. I remember. Do you read that song? There was a parody song that came out in 1980. Someone changed it. A lot of people actually, whenever there's a parody song, they just slap Weird Al Yankovic's name on it. Oh, it's a parody. It's got to be him.
Was it him?
It was not him. It was not him. And I'm not saying Bomb I Ran. So
it's a song, people.
It's a song. All right, go ahead.
Here's the message on Twitter from Barbara Ann, who was the 911 operator who received the call. Hey. That's how she sounds in my head. Hey. Just wanted to let you know I was the 911 operator that took the call in Naples about you. As you can imagine, we have to be nice to everyone and tell them if they have a concern, we will address it. But I was thinking, oh boy, Naples is not a good look. Apologies I had to send them out to you. Happy to hear you'll be back. Funny thing is the caller said he wasn't sure if he should have called or not, but it just didn't sit well with him and thought he should tell someone. He also did not call 911. He called the non-emergency line. So he was smart enough not to tie up the 911 lines with nonsense.
That's what the other number is for. Our other number, you see the billboard. If it's not an emergency and it's nonsense, here's your number.
Have a great day, Barbara.
This could be a budding new friendship, you and Barbara.
Well, I did invite her out to the show, and she replied back and said she had to work. I feel like we're friends now, me and the 911 operator.
Right.
We hit it off. What if I ended up dating her? I'm sure that would never happen.
That's where I'm going.
That would be funny. How'd you guys meet? I sent 2 cops down to have him arrested, and we fell in love. I mean, it's absurd, isn't it? And that's that. And here I am. So I posted that on Twitter. Went to sleep. Woke up the next morning and had like, I don't know, a few thousand views and like maybe 50 retweets. And that's a lot for like overnight.
Yeah.
For me. And then it just boom, man. It just caught fire. I don't know how and where and when. I don't know what person or persons were the ones that triggered
Takes the
it.
right one to find how ridiculous it is, share it, and then
somebody retweeted it, and that's where it caught fire. And then now we're up to about 300,000 views, 1,500 retweets, 6,000 likes. And that's just on that video. There's other stuff out there, you know, Instagram and Facebook has a couple posts that are up in the like hundreds of thousands and shit. So
yeah,
it's interesting, you know, just to kind of put a big, you know, red bow on this whole topic is it really does go back to having the conversation of, you know, the cross-cultural dialogue, getting to know other cultures. Don't be afraid to try the other people's food, music, you know, dance. You don't have to like it, but it never hurts to try it.
right,
You might like it,
right.
you know. I never thought I'd like Asia. I thought Asia would be the last place I would have a residency, and I live there now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Where exactly?
I live in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia,
All right.
but it's like Central Asia.
Where do you go? Do you throw a dart at a map and go, all right, I'm going?
No, I got a job offer there for a company called LOL Events. They're a company that was responsible for bringing me as a comic to Kuala Lumpur in 2011. I was the first international comic with like TV and film credits to perform there.
Yeah.
And I just stayed friends with them, and we stayed in touch. I went off and did a bunch of other stuff for the next 6 years. Was on a TV series, directed a documentary, toured around the world. And then when I was coming back through Asia, I called him up. I got a comedy tour in China. And then so when I was going to be in Asia, I called them up and I said, do you guys want to do a show with me? They said yes. And while I was in Malaysia, that's when they offered me the job.
Okay, you got to tell me this. First of all, you know, you bring your Middle Eastern flair, your Egyptian flair, the kind of things that you know of culturally there. How do you translate to doing comedy in China and Malaysia? What are the crowds like? And do you find that there are jokes that they just absolutely don't get a reference, and that you have to kind of tailor?
No, if people speak English and, you know, understand it, most people get it.
You kind of look at the human family as we're really not all that different. You know, as you've gone to these different countries.
If you look at it in a broad spectrum, you know, if you're in Dubai or Malaysia, you'll see places where like families come together and have picnics or go to the mall or ice skating or water parks. You know,
it all looks the same.
It all looks the same, and it's, you know, a father and a mother are playing with their children in Malaysia or Middle East the same way mother and father would play with their kids here in America. So
all these little cultural differences that I think, you know, have people with their guard up first before they get through to go, we're the same, let's just get along, let's have fun, let's, you know, laugh together. And I do think that a lot of people, just because of those little odd cultural differences, they kind of put that those are the little walls that we already have. We already have built between us.
Yeah, and, you know, let's not forget the media loves to
stoke the fire.
That's their propaganda. It's really kind of just pumping the brainwashing.
Now, when they say it bleeds, it leads, that's true. Right. They want the fantastic story, which brings us to TMZ today, which was great. They saw it for what it was, and brought you on to kind of tell your side of the story. I don't think that they were without trying to see both sides of the story. But, you know, a lot of times you look at TMZ and they're talking about just they're the tabloids, is what you're thinking about. The National Enquirer. It's the, you know, video version of that, you know. But a lot of times people can get it right. It seemed like they got this one right. What were your thoughts and feelings about that?
You know, TMZ, I was slightly nervous that they were going to try to spin the story or make it all crazy. They were actually super polite and professional. There was a moment where they tried to wiggle the conversation into a left turn, you know, and then I kind of brought it back the other way. I got them to laugh a couple times, and then after I explained, you know, my side of the story, noticed they were like, oh, okay, you know.
All right.
But it's going to be great international news and great entertainment news, and it's another feather in the cap, you know.
I was wondering about some of your film credits, and one is Iron Man.
Yes.
And what'd you do in Iron Man? I know, but...
I played Terrorist number 4.
Terrorist number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Love it. I just get the number. The thing is that, you know, it makes me think back to 1994. The movie True Lies comes out. Arnold Schwarzenegger. James Cameron movie. And this was before the internet. I mean, the internet was happening, but it wasn't, you know, what it grew into, obviously. So there wasn't a whole lot of, you know, instant, you know, feedback on things. Not like there is now. But I do recall back then, there were some groups that were very upset with the movie, basically because of the stereotype of, you know, Middle Eastern people and just being terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was 1994. So even when you accept that role for that, and you had no idea, Robert Downey Jr. had no idea,
right?
Jon Favreau had no idea what it was going to become.
Nobody.
You know, I mean, they made it was that's a lightning in a bottle moment, and Jon Favreau just knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah. My one of my best friends, Peter Billingsley, he was an ex-child actor. Movie star,
yeah. Christmas Story. Yeah.
He was one of the executive producers on Iron Man.
Wow.
He was the one who called me up and said, "Hey,
you'll shoot your eye out, kid."
He called me up and said, "Hey, I'm executive producing Iron Man. I know you're not playing terrorist parts anymore, but do you want to?"
Yeah. Oh, so it was kind of prefaced with, I know you don't.
He said the storyline is about this terrorist group, but it's an international terrorist group. We don't use the word Islam, and
right.
I know you're trying to get your comedy career going.
Yeah.
We have heard the phrase.
But you know, we can cover you up. A lot of people don't know I'm in Iron Man because you have to really look for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm wearing like a hat and I'm the guy who found the mask in the desert.
You pulled it up and shake the
I was wearing goggles
sand off of it.
and
yeah.
A mask you would never know. So.
But that is interesting that it was kind of like, hey, this is what it is, and kind of approaching it in that way.
He was like, you know, it's 6 weeks of work. You'll get paid. You'll get your SAG insurance.
Yeah.
I said, bro, you had me at Iron Man.
Yes. Oh. And then what it became. That's just amazing. Too bad you don't get your own spin-off in the Marvel Universe.
Bro, I would love to come back. The problem is they killed me off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when Jeff Bridges comes to the thing?
Exactly. What a great movie, though.
I think it was probably the best Marvel movie, if not one of the best.
How you doing, DC? I jumped at the opportunity to be on this show because I myself have a lot of First Amendment issues that I deal with. So, well, let's just go ahead and point out the elephant in the room. I'm from the Middle East. Thanks. Thanks. Any other Arabs in here besides me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 4. Well, it only takes one of us.
Great times. Work. Cool.
Sweet, man.
Have a good one. Thank you. And I'll definitely pop in after my show.
Sweet.
All right, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yes, thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Yes, thanks.
Oh, don't forget your vape thing.
Don't forget that, guy. Thanks, brother.
All right, buddy. See ya. Don't forget, the title of the Netflix special is It Only Takes One of Us.